Hey you. Yeah, you. I've noticed that almost all of you who are watching my video are not subscribed. You better subscribe. You better click that button right now. I'm watching you. Did you do it? Perfect. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the video. No matter how you look at it, it's your guys' fault I'm not popular. Skill takers, world domination, building a slave harem from scratch. World end. What do you do at the end of the world? Are you busy? Will you save us? The former top 1 sub-character training diarrhea dedicated players currently conquering another world. I've killed slimes for 300 years and maxed out my level. As a result of a classmate's obsession with Yuri, I was exposed as an author. Hi there, I'm Mr. Panda, and holy moly cannoli Japan. What in the middle school writer syndrome are these titles? Holy fish paste! For those of you who haven't noticed, Japan one day took the book formatting guide for writing a synopsis in the back of the book and Uno reversed that shiznit. Now you have whole sentences to sometimes paragraphs as the title of their light novels, manga, and anime. Here is a video of the anime man explaining a little bit of why this ended up happening.
Explain to me, why are they doing this to anime titles?
Okay, so
yes.
Most, if not, I think all of these are originally based off light novels. And there's a trend in the light novel world where instead of writing, you know how most books have a blurb at the back to like tell you what the book is about?
Yeah.
Well, in Japan, they realized that younger people just weren't reading blurbs and were basically just picking up titles because they thought it was interesting. So
I guess
to save the time, they literally were like, what if the blurb is the title?
That makes sense.
I grew up in the early to mid 2000s as a kid, so the naming scheme for anime has always been pretty short and typically eye-catching, i.e. Fullmetal Alchemist, Naruto, One Piece, Wait a second. It's a fun fact with Panda. It's a fun fact with Panda. Let's see what this fact is. Let's see this fun fact. For those of you that don't know, Kubo actually explained the title of Bleach. The title was originally going to be black, themed after the Soul Reaper's outfits. Unfortunately, he found that it was too simple and tried the inverse, white. Sadly again, way too ambiguous of a name when finally lightning struck. He titled it Bleach since Bleach turns clothes white and cleans white clothes, which many of the captains and villains all wear white, so as the story progresses you see more white than black in the show for clothes, which was a subtle nod from the title Bleach. Now back to the video. Okay, so the titles are a little long. Panda, that can't be that big of a thing. Well, honestly, no, it's not. It's not a bad thing at all. In fact, I find it kind of hilarious. Light novelists in Japan now actually have to use clickbait titles to interest the younger generation into reading. If anything, you can take lessons from those novelists on how to title a YouTube video. For example, let's take a look at a few YouTube titles and anime titles, and let's compare. Trapped in a dating sim, the world of Atome games is tough for mobs. I tried proving chess pros are actually dumb. You love your mom and her 2-hit multi-target attacks? I'm never playing Uno drunk again. Problem children are coming from another world, aren't they? Now, excluding the thematics of isekais and dating sim fantasies, all these titles accomplish the same exact goal. They explain exactly what's going on in their respective media and get you to wonder the premise that came about. Now, not all light novels, manga, and anime are doing the same theming. If you notice, a lot of the veteran novelists and mangaka, or novelists and mangaka that grew up on these older serializations, actually have been keeping up to what they know for titling, such as Fire Force, Attack on Titan, Kaiju Number 8, Jujutsu Kaisen, Platinum End. All of these are popular manga and light novels that stay true to the simple yet effective titling naming format a lot of fans are used to. Wait, I thought of something pretty funny. I'm going to try to find the longest titles out there and just see just how far this goes. SSS Rank Dungeon Knife. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the rest of this. I couldn't find a translation, but this is the title for this manga on multiple sites. Like, good googly moogly. Let's see, what else? A manga about the kind of PE teacher who dies at the start of a school horror film. I suppose there's also the direct approach, but I mean, come on, there's no room for imagination. What else can we find here? An old man from the countryside becomes a sword saint. I was just a rural sword teacher, but my successful students won't leave me alone. You know, at this rate, I think the cover of manga won't be action-packed artworks anymore, just pure script, cover and back for these titles. Like, you can't even fit a fraction of these on the spine of the manga without making the font the size of an ant. But to be clear, let me also say this. I'm poking fun at these titles, but by no means am I endorsing the idea that these are bad manga or anime. In fact, I'm sure I would enjoy quite a few of these that I've read out. I just like poking fun in such an unorthodox trend happening in a particular market, so do not take me making fun of these titles as okay to trash on the quality of these stories. We're all just having fun, and I want to poke fun. That is all that's happening here. You know, at this point, if we really think about if some of the older titles were titled today, they would be the most ridiculous titles out there. Like, if Fullmetal Alchemist was titled today, instead of Fullmetal Alchemist, it would probably be something along the lines of, I failed reincarnating my mother and now I need to try to get my brother's body back. Or like for Bleach, it would be a high school student goes from a punk to a soul-saving samurai. Or for Naruto would probably be the longest one. Let's be real. Naruto would probably be along the lines of, I got a fox sealed inside of my body and now I need to try to save the world while everybody hates me. You know, there was one thing that I will absolutely give props for, and that is to the production companies titling the anime. There is so much opportunity to retitle these anime into something really cool, really catchy, really appealing, but because we've gotten to this era where anime and manga and light novels all try to be as cohesively together and close to each other as possible, they are named the exact same thing. And as much as I hate it, I also have to give so much respect to the companies that are just following through, unlike in the predecessor years. Because if you think back to like Fullmetal Alchemist, for instance, the original Fullmetal Alchemist had nothing to do with the manga. It was a completely divergent story. They in fact had to remake some anime so that it followed the manga closer. Like, they're even doing a second season or a reboot of Blue Exorcist because they didn't follow the manga in the first season and then failed to make a second season because they ended the series in the first season and made a mistake. So their second season followed the middle of the first season anime and it flopped entirely. I'm curious as to why this newer generation aren't paying as much mind to titles as they used to, and I thought of a couple of things. It could be a multifaceted issue, including the shrinking younger generation of Japan, or the fact that the longer titles are a symptom of a mass production of less appealing novels coming out in Japan. But the most obvious answer, and it could be a mix of all of it, is this generation around the world, and not just in Japan, is a generation that is of technological advancement. In a world of Instagram, Vines, and TikToks, this new generation has a shorter attention span to catch their attention, since they can immediately be entertained in a second. In the light novel manga industry, it's not enough to have a cool sounding name anymore. People want to know they're not wasting their time immediately. I also believe Japan is having a bit of a pitfall with some of their plots though. The isekai bubble has finally popped. I believe personally has caused a disconnect for some viewers that really have a distrust from a well-drawn novel cover that has the classic signs of an isekai on the horizon. But at the same time, I think the disappointment is well-founded, especially if you think about some of the recent isekais that come out. There has been a lot of repetitiveness inside the nature of the stories themselves. It's like pirates finally digging up the treasure chest that they've been searching for months. I'm being met with disappointment because the chest had 100 copies of the final season of Lost inside. At the end of the day, it's just another trend. It'll go away when a new trend for titling finds itself to be more popular, and people are always going to read manga, people are always going to read light novels. It is literally the culture in Japan, it is the entertainment that they have, so as soon as people get bored with that titling, they're gonna find another one. But if you made it this far, tell me in the comments, what do you think of these long anime titles, and what do you think the next titling trend will be? As always, like and subscribe to the video, and check out the other videos. I'm Mr. Panda, and I'll check you in the next video.